I gave you the semi-auto workshop Mark II and you loved it. Now I give you the new and improved Mark III, built on the same base but hugely better in almost every way. This is the Mark III. Ladies and gentlemen, kitchen maids, airline pilots, and architects of the new world. Welcome to another Timoredbeard video. Today, it is finally here. That's right, it is the Workshop Mark III video that you've all been asking for, and I'm really proud of what we've accomplished. Genuinely. We have taken your feedback on board, or I've taken your feedback on board. Some certain requests for the ability to move a cart around the entire place to make everything easier works really well. We've added windmills in. We have improved the angles that all the smelters are at so that it's easier to just run down the line and fill them up and still get everything to converge in one place. I really think you're going to enjoy this, so I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'm not going to bother telling you about anything else. Let's jump straight into it. Let's go. So I do want to make a point of saying that if you're watching this now and you haven't watched Workshop Mark II, you need to go and watch Workshop Mark II or you won't understand everything that's going on here. The build that we're working on here, that we have developed and that we are adjusting, is the Workshop Mark II. So definitely go give that video a watch. It's at the top of your screen right now, in the description below as well. And then come back to this video afterwards. So you can already see two big changes to the workshop. One is we've added the deliveries chest feature. This was a suggestion from the YouTube comments to help make transferring from the boat into the workshop much easier, and it works perfectly. You don't have to try an overweight jump off the boat to get into the workshop, and you'll also notice that the staircase is now widened and quite easily fits a cart so that you can get up onto the second floor with a cart in tow. The next change you'll notice, aside from the fact that there's now a huge stone structure in the middle of the second floor of the workshop now, is we've moved the placement of the spinning wheels. Now the spinning wheels sit underneath the ramp that leads the carts up to the smelters and drops down into a chute right there. It's out of the way, it looks clean, it looks nice, it's easy to access. I'm really happy with where they are now. And you'll also notice that I kind of snubbed off the coal ramp there, just so that it wasn't getting in the way of the cart, and it still collects coal, no problem. Now we have probably the biggest adjustment to the Workshop Mark II, and that is this central smithing area. There are some additions that are quite big as well, but this is an adjustment to what was already there. And we now have 3 smelters and 3 blast furnaces lined up, all ready to drop down into their respective chutes to make it a lot easier for you to fill up the smelters and the blast furnaces with coal and ore and make your life a whole lot easier. And of course, as you can see, the cart runs straight up to this area, no problem, meaning that you can cart everything up there from the bottom floor, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you're wondering why my smelters seem to take larger stacks of items, for example 100 coal and 50 ore each, it's just an adjustment in the configuration files of Valheim Plus. Doesn't do anything more than that, it just increases the stack sizes to make quality of life a little bit easier. And of course we have a chest at the top of the stairs here that allows us to store our coal from the lower floor, just to make things easier when we're refilling. And of course it's very easy to do a cart run from the coal to the chest when needed, to make sure that chest is always topped up. And this leads us to the windmills. This is of course a new addition to the workshop, and we have 3 windmills here on an overhang that leads to a big hopper that drops the wheat down into a same sort of chute area in the ground floor that we've tacked onto the side. Yeah, it all works very smoothly. And of course, with the changes we've made with the stone structure in the second floor, effectively adding a third floor, it didn't make a lot of sense for the walkway that leads to the kilns to come up from the ground. It would tighten up the area that we have to move the cart around in, and it just looks a whole lot better if it's attached to the third floor. And it just follows the cart path now. You know, the cart path has a linear path rather than a complex path. You go up the middle staircase and you get access to everything. You can drop off all your wood straight to the kilns, etc, etc, etc. You can bring everything up with you, follow one path, and drop everything off all at once. And then, of course, once everything is processed, you can then take your cart back down to the ground floor, and you can scoop up all of your processed items, your barley, your thread, your ore, your ingots, and then if you do want to sail it off to somewhere else, if your workshop is in a standalone place and not at your base, then you can place it back in the deliveries chest, load it back onto the boat, and sail off to your heart's content, nice and easy. So I'm going to go over how to make the changes in just a moment, but before we do that, I just wanted to tell you that this is going to be the last of the vanilla workshop episodes. I feel like I've reached as far as I can go in terms of what's currently in the vanilla state of the game, and I believe that I can go further and do even more cool things using mods. So the next workshop video, the next semi-auto workshop video, is going to be a modded video. I'm going to make sure that I list all of the mods that I use, and I don't think it will be many, to be fair. I think it might be one or two, and I will explain to you guys how to get them so that you can do the builds in the future. But for now, that's been sort of like the show around of the workshop. I wanted to do that first before I showed you how to make all the changes, because I feel like that's the better way to do it now. Do let me know in the comments below if you think that you'd prefer me to show you how first and then show it off afterwards, like I've been doing previously. But now I'm going to show you how to make the changes. So let's crack into that. Now, the first step is, of course, to destroy. This build, or the adjustments, make this building a lot taller. So the first thing you need to do is wipe out that roof, get it all removed. Only the side, the slant on the kiln side. The stuff that's above the kilns, the smaller slant, you can leave be. That's absolutely fine. It's just the side that slants down quite deep that we're going to need to remove, because that's going to grow a lot taller. Now, somehow I managed to not record this bit, but essentially we terraformed up on the ocean side and on this side, as you can see in this clip, up to max on the sides of the stone walls so that it would support the stone walls higher. That is because I'm building this primarily out of stone. If you're building the outside of this building primarily out of wood, you probably don't need to worry so much about it. But because I am using stone, and stone does get weaker, a lot weaker when it goes up, even with iron supports, I needed to give some extra support. Whilst I was building in the section to try and work out exactly what I was going to do, I tested out a lot of different things. I tested out 45-degree roofs, I tested out ladders, I tested out stairs, I tested out stone stairs. I was trying to work out what the best material to use was to get things to slide properly, and I came to an answer, and that answer is that it doesn't really matter what material you're using. You just need to have the item having enough momentum, and to do that you need a drop. So as you can see here, I'm currently building up on a single slant, and it's not massively effective. I did try a bunch of different ways to do it on a single slant, and none of them were very effective. So what I ended up doing was moving the chutes on the ground floor into the middle of the room, and later adding a third one for the linen thread, and having a Y chute. And the Y chute seems to be the most effective way to make it, because you can make it much lower down, meaning that you get a large amount of drop coming out of the furnaces and the smelters, which means the items are traveling way faster. So when they hit those slopes to slide down into where they're supposed to be, they just keep sliding, they don't get stuck. Very, very occasionally you do get a hitch, but it is very rare. If you have enough momentum, they almost always just slide straight down into the chute, and it's perfect. And just to give you guys a little bit more information on the Y chute or on how to build it, this is exactly what a Y chute is. Just obviously built without any walls around it or anything like that, built in the open, so you guys can see exactly what goes into a Y chute. And as you can see, it's actually incredibly simple. And when you are building your own Y chutes, I recommend going higher or going to the highest point you can. The more of a drop that you have between your smelter and the start of your ramps, the more reliable it will be. The less of a drop, the more likely you are to get hitches and for things to not actually travel the whole way down the chute. So if you can get like a good sort of 2, 4, preferably 6 meter drop from your smelters to your Y chute, you're gonna have a really easy time. And then of course we added the deliveries chests, which is of course as easy as taking out a couple of the stone blocks at the bottom of the wall and placing some chests so that they stick out on both sides, so it's accessible from the boat and also from inside the workshop. As you can see here, I originally went with a staircase design that wrapped in on itself from 2 sides. This didn't work out very well in terms of getting the cart around, so that's why I redesigned it into what you saw at the end there. And of course the last big addition to this is the windmill. So we added 3 windmills on an overhang. To make the overhang, we just used the stone arch blocks sticking out from the wall, up one and then arched again and up a second, and then we had a 2 wide overhang. We placed 3 windmills on here, and then we created a hopper using the Y slope that I've already shown you how to do, and just encasing it in wood, leading down to the same chute design that we have in the ground floor, but just kind of attached to the side of the building via a chute. It's all very simple. There was nothing massively complex about this, and it just worked incredibly well. Unfortunately, in terms of looks, windmills aren't great for like the whole items falling down and appearing in the chute, because windmills only drop off bags of wheat once they are a full stack. So it takes forever, and then it just drops 1 bag, and then it takes forever again, and then it just drops 1 bag. So that's a bit unfortunate, but I think it does look really good, and I think the windmills really actually accentuate the build when you look at it from the outside with them up there spinning away, and the hopper looks quite cool as well. So yeah. So this is the Workshop Mark III, guys. I really hope you like what I've done. If you do have any requests for any more in-depth tutorials, I know that I was really quite light on the how-to on this one, because of course a lot of it is just adjustments of stuff that was shown in Mark II. I don't want to bore you guys, but if you do feel like it was too light on how-tos and tutorials, then please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to do a second video that really goes into the nitty-gritty of how to do each step in a very step-by-step basis. Please do tell me in the comments below. Otherwise, if you have liked this video, then please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and don't forget to caress that notification bell. I do stream on Twitch from Tuesday through to Friday starting at 1 PM GMT. I'd love to catch you there. We do a lot of big builds. We do some hardcore and Iron Man challenges with Valheim as well. It's a lot of fun. If you do want to support me further, please do check out the Patreon link and the Korf merch link in the description below. Of course, support me on Patreon if you fancy. I'd really appreciate it. And buy my merch on Korf merch would massively support me as well. Make sure you join the Discord in the which has a link in the description below, funnily enough. Is a fantastic place. It's an ever-growing community. There is loads for you there. You can get yourself access to entering into competitions where you can win Steam gift cards. You can enter submissions for Pimp My Base, for Friday's Fantastic Thoughts, and more. So definitely go join it. But otherwise, I'll let you enjoy the rest of this. Peace out and take care.